I think it was Septic Death was the band at the time that Pusshead was in. Anyway, I think he gave autographed Pusshead memorabilia out. A lot of the local kids just loved it. I think it was one of the few times back then where the skate culture was really embraced. Like, I think a lot of those local kids felt like it was kind of recognition, and those kind of underground local artists who were doing some neat work, because it was a pretty big event. And then we had a skate contest. And
Middlestead was the first guy I knew that knew how to ollie, and he was one of the Boise High kids, and I was like, what? He's ollieing onto a stair? Oh, sweet. Imagine. But actually, I had seen Steve Caballero came to town years before to play with the faction, and he came and skated our vert ramp. Pusshead said, hey, let's go street skating with Caballero. And I was like, whoa, what's street skating? And which is crazy, because that's all I ever did for the first 10 years of skateboarding before we found vert. And Stevie, he was always the best, you know. Tony Hawk was crazy, but it's like, oh, Stevie had everything, all the tricks, all the style, crazy tilted head. And then he's in your backyard. We had thrown this ramp together, and Pusshead came and he's like, oh yeah, nice try guys, but helped us refurbish this ramp. And then next thing you know, I think it was just a few months later, Faction was coming to town to play a show, and Brian was a promoter of punk rock shows in town, brought the Faction in. I was like, oh, skate rock, sweet. Street, well, what can you do out there? Because we didn't really know. And we went to a place, Vermilion Northwest, and it had a bank. It was a loading docks, so I knew about acid drops. But then, you know, we had a bank, and I was like, oh, okay, what, a wheelie, whatever, you know, do a 360 or something. And then Caballero came, and he was ollieing up onto the sidewalk. Man, I think probably the first manual I ever saw. Ollie onto the sidewalk. It was just like a little tiny sidewalk. It wasn't even a full size, but it still looks super cool. Land in a manual, come off, roll away, ollie over, ollie and land on the bank. And it was like, oh my gosh, really opened our eyes, opened my eyes anyway. I was like, oh, this could be cool. Next thing you know, there was a little curb on top of that bank. So it was like nose picks and, you know, 5-0s, or, you know, 5-0 stalls anyway, weren't grinding. I think it was pretty rough, but I was like, oh, this could be cool. And then now.